So the Flash movie doesn't come out till next year, and we already got the prequel comic book. How does it tie in? Let's find out. Hey, welcome back to the Ping Pong Flix. My name is Chris Wong. So yeah, I went over to the comic book store and got this comic book. The Flash, the fastest man alive comic book. So when you first open the book, it gets right into the action. I'm the Flash. Which, honestly actually poses an interesting question because I could have sworn that this version of Barry Allen didn't even call himself the Flash until the Grant Gustin Flash actually called him the Flash in Crisis on Infinite Earths.
The Flash? The Flash? The Flash? It's complicated.
And since this comic book actually takes place right after Justice League, it sure seems like that little cameo in Crisis on Infinite Earths probably is not canon. But he dives right into action, and you notice that he has the yellow electricity around him, which obviously is not related to Joss Whedon's Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League. At this point in time, he's already got the yellow lightning. But he sure knows how to throw some punches. At the very least, I think if this guy was human, then he'd probably be dead. But because the villain is Girder, it takes a pretty toll on the costume and his hands. And by the way, the character Girder in this actually has a little bit of backstory on why he's doing the things he's doing. And I thought that was a kind of cool element to be added in this prequel comic book. And so the Flash can't defeat Girder, and so he calls the Batman! And who's the Batman in this universe? That's right, it's Ben Affleck's version of the Batman, roaring in on that motorcycle that he's going to ride in the Flash movie. And it's pretty cool to see a lot of the interaction between Batman and the Flash in this little prequel comic. Not to mention, even Alfred shows up for a few scenes to help out with his new costume. But we also get to see Bruce Wayne training Barry Allen to learn how to fight. And in this training is where we first get a hint of what the Flash can really do. A supersonic punch. Which is pretty badass. If this is the prequel to the movie and this is the official tie-in to the movie, can't wait to see him do this on screen. And I love that Barry Allen in this has some conflicting issues he has to deal with, and that Batman is here to help him deal with these issues. Now, this is the part where people are wondering, does this comic connect to Joss Whedon's Justice League or Zack Snyder's Justice League? And I can honestly tell you, I have no idea. Yes, I mean, he mentions that he just kind of shoves people out of the way, but you do see in the comic that he does throw some punches. And the Batman says, you went toe-to-toe with the worst the universe had to offer and saved this planet. And yeah, I would argue that in Zack Snyder's Justice League, he actually saves the planet more than what he's done. He's saving that little civilian truck in Joss Whedon's Justice League. And then when he has that flashback moment, you do see a little bit of the parademons from Justice League. So I think it doesn't really connect to either Zack Snyder's or Joss Whedon's Justice League. It just connects to a Justice League in general. Like the idea that the Justice League had to come together to defeat parademons, that's still something that happened prior to this prequel comic. And we actually get to see Batman give that new suit to Barry Allen, all packed into a single ring, the Flash ring, which you also could see in the trailer as well. And when Batman and Flash has to work together to defeat Girder, he finally shows up in that new Flash suit. And I understand that fans would be like, well, we kind of prefer the Justice League suit, but you have to know that was just the first step, the first suit for the Flash. Kind of like how Iron Man had Mark 1, that was the Flash Mark 1 outfit. And the plan was always to have Bruce Wayne make a new suit for Barry Allen. In fact, a few years back, when someone asked Zack Snyder, did you plan to make a new suit for Barry by the end of Justice League, or was that just a rumor? Zack Snyder says, a new suit with Wayne tech. Now, he had an idea of a concept, but because he knew that another director was going to handle the Flash movie, Zack Snyder said, I want to give the Flash solo film director a chance to put his or her spin on it, so no more than a concept. And because the new director for the Flash movie is now Andy Muschietti, it's kind of cool to see that old concept, that old idea of having the new Flash film director have his own spin of a suit that's made by the current Bruce Wayne still carry over to the new film. And by the end of the comic, you do see Barry Allen and Bruce Wayne going to work again to save something in Central City, in which seems like this would lead into some type of chase sequence in the actual Flash film. But that may not be the case because this really is only issue 1 of 3, so there's definitely 2 more issues to go before the movie comes out. And honestly, it's kind of like the other prequel comic books we've had. You had Man of Steel had a prequel comic book, Batman v Superman had prequel comic books, and there's no real actual connection only than the context of how we get to the beginning of the movie. That's pretty much it, but it's still an interesting read. It's something to hold you over until the movie actually begins. By the way, you can just grab this comic book at any comic book store, or you can check out the links in the pinned comments down below. But as you know, The Flash doesn't only have one Batman, it has 2 Batmans, and the other Batman is Michael Keaton. And honestly, with the cancellation of Batgirl, I kind of feel a little bad that Michael Keaton's only going to be in one Flash movie. And the other night's Emmy, he actually reacted to the Batgirl cancellation.
When will we next see you as Batman, and what was your reaction to Batgirl not getting released?
It was kind of, I don't really, I think it was a business decision. I'm going to assume it was a good one. I really don't know. I don't follow that much. And what was the other question? What about it?
When will we next see you as Batman?
Oh, a little later tonight, probably, if you're lucky enough. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. Kind of, we'll see. It was great. It was fun. I really have no idea. Sorry to bore the hell out of you, but okay.
So it seems like having him multiple appearances as the Batman in the DCEU has come down to just one single appearance in the Flash movie. And that is why he says he doesn't know when we'll ever see him again as Batman. And it's probably because most likely the ending of the Flash film will have more Ben Affleck as Batman, as it's been heard that David Zaslav doesn't really like the idea that Michael Keaton was going to be the main DCEU Batman, and he'd rather have Ben Affleck. And the producer Barbara Muschietti, who is Andy Muschietti's sister, posted on Instagram of them jumping for joy as they get closer to finalizing the movie. But there were rumors on the internet that there was going to be massive reshoots, whole rewrites for this movie. Andre from Nicotina asked, but I thought all 3 acts needed more work and more reshoots, in which Flash Film News says, to quote a certain someone from production regarding that statement, laugh out loud. And honestly, it's really not hard to find out who that person was, because we've already seen Barbara Muschietti actually talk directly to the Flash Film News crew, and this is what they said when in regards to the Flash release date undated. She said, absolute bullshit. So it would seem like Barbara Muschietti is actually laughing off the major rewrites and massive reshoots, but that doesn't mean there's no reshoot. And like every single movie, there's always scheduled reshoots, so there's bound to be some reshoots here and there. And maybe it already happened, but I'm pretty sure that if they're going to keep Ben Affleck as Batman for the foreseeable future, then they really just gotta change the ending, Instead of having Michael Keaton come out of the car, to just have Ben Affleck come out of the car, something like that, in order to secure that the Flash comes back to the timeline where Ben Affleck is still Batman, and maybe Henry Cavill is still Superman. Alright, what do you think about the Flash prequel comic? Are you excited for the movie? Share your thoughts in the comments down below.